Bulletcast for life. Get up! This is a revolution. This is our time to rise. Look deep within your mind. Look deep into the hate in my eyes. We are the elite, and you are the weak. No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up on my feet. Red alert! This is gonna hurt. When your face is in the dirt, you'll know your death is what I.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, the microphone Messiah, joined by the Canadian Destroyer, BT Brandon Tanguma. Video and audio today. Hello. I'm trying to keep that going for the remainder of however long we do this show. Brandon, what's going on, man?
It's going good. Well, good thing I put up all my makeup. Have my best face on. Still haven't fixed this light for like the past 3 years, but you guys can kind of see me. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Right. Outside the ring, oh my, this hurt. Samantha Irvin has left the company. News broke Monday afternoon, just out of nowhere, like an RKO. Man, that hurt. Brandon, what were your thoughts on the departure of Samantha Irvin?
It definitely was shocking because, just kind of came out of the blue a couple hours before Raw started. But as I kind of thought about it a little bit more, and as, the info or the leaks started coming out about the possibilities of why she left, it made a lot of sense. She kind of started out as a musician, as a singer, and it looks as though she wants to pursue that, and they couldn't kind of figure out a plan or an agreement for her to be able to do both. She's also engaged to Ricochet, and with his work schedule and her work schedule, it seems like that doesn't work out so much. So, and it also seems as though this was kind of in the works, or she had this planned out for a couple months now. So this isn't as long as, even though the public didn't know about it until Monday, seems as though this has been kind of in the works for a while.
Yeah, I love when like something happens and all the dirt sheets just start reporting on it as if like you guys don't know. Like, stop it. Stop. Let's stop doing this. We don't really know. Samantha Irvin, I mean, she was only in the business, 3 years? She made a hell of an impact, man. I mean, I remember just like her announcing the Bloodline. I'm talking like when Usos are tag champs, Roman's the champ. You got Solo, you got Sammy, you got the Wise Man. Just that was peak. That was just peak announcing, and she, I guess we could say she's a controversial figure. There are people that absolutely love it and love her. Then there are those that thought it was over the top. Like I think when Brian Hebner was one of them, former TNA.
Trust circle here, everybody. I'm not going to sit here and say she's terrible, but I did see, there was times that maybe she kind of went a little too over the top and kind of tried to make herself a little more the center of attention that she doesn't need to. I will say that. I can see where those people are coming from.
Making herself the center of attention, or is it just passion for the business?
I mean, as like a ring announcer, I feel like you're like a referee. You're not supposed to be like, people aren't supposed to like remember the performance you made. It's supposed to be about
why do we remember Howard Finkel? Why do we remember Lillian Garcia, who just came back?
Well, Howard Finkel, I would say, is the best ring announcer of all time.
But we're not supposed to remember him, right?
And later in time, he did kind of, try to get himself over a little bit in terms of, kind of milking the moment maybe a little too much. What was the WrestleMania one where like he like really like just panned it out, and then like even the announcer was like, all right, Howard, come on, let's get on with it. So like there are times, and like, announcers have their quirks and stuff, and she definitely is one of like the pure one, like just pure voices. Like her voice is amazing, and like when it came to like those big time moments, like the main events, I think she delivered it quite well. So I don't want to get it twisted like I'm saying she's terrible, baby. I think she is one of the best modern ring announcers that there has been. But I will say there have been some times where I thought she kind of went a little too over the top.
It's just passion, guys. Calm down. It's not over the top. Jesus. Samantha Irvin, thank you. Job well done. If we get this War Games Bloodline thing, I'm gonna need her to come back and announce the OG Bloodline one more time. I'm gonna need that. Michael Cole has signed a new deal with the WWE, another multi-year deal, and apparently he will be on the first Raw on Netflix, Los Angeles, California. Matter of fact, I just came back from LA. Yeah.
Got the debuting Intuit Dome.
Yes.
doing having their debut event today with the LA Clippers. So, uh, excited to see how that looks. But yeah, I mean, I mean, Michael Cole's been around for such a long time. He's like not only the top guy, but he's also, helps out the other younger announcers. I know he's maybe taking a little bit of a step back in terms of kind of that control that he had, but Mike Cole is definitely a lifer. He's going to be there as long as he wants.
I guess talking about another lifer, Sting, maybe an AEW lifer. He is still under contract with the company. Uh, Obviously not to wrestle, but kind of like a Legends deal, per se, licensing deal and stuff like that. So Sting still with AEW under contract on paper.
Yeah, this also isn't too much of a shock. Sting is very loyal, almost loyal to a fault. All those years that he probably should have went to WWE, but he didn't because of WCW/TNA loyalty. And AEW has done him right, these last few years, and especially that retirement and that send off. So, not a shock that Sting signs an exclusive deal with AEW. Now, is there a road for him to sign some WWE Legends deal to be in video games or toys? I don't know. But I mean, Sting and AEW, they've had a perfect relationship for however long he's been with the company, like what, 4 years now? So
Something like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Apparently there's another WWE lawsuit.
yeah, we got the Ring Boy scandal. If you watch the Vince McMahon documentary, they touched on it. Not briefly, but it was kind of like half of an episode. And a new lawsuit came out, John Doe 1 through 5. So there's the five uh, ring boys that are suing TKO, Vince McMahon, Linda McMahon, WWE about what happened back in the early 90s and Mel Phillips. It happened a long time ago. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how or why this is happening right now. They said it has to do with like uncovered news and uncovered discoveries from the Janelle Grant stuff. So I do wonder. Well, I guess TKO bought WWE, so I guess TKO absorbs anything that happened to WWE in these past 50 years. So it's just, another thing laid on top of it. Maybe we'll just have a settlement and that's done, or maybe we'll get something else. Interesting that Linda is named in the lawsuit, but she was a prominent figure. She was like the business end of WWE in the
I'm
early
just
90s.
like, if the Vince doc hadn't come out, would there be this lawsuit?
I don't know. I mean, it did kind of come out of nowhere. It was like,
Like, yeah, and then like this, the Ring Boy stuff happens or allegedly happens, whatever. What, the late '80s, early '90s, right?
yep. And
I'm just like, with like all these like allegations that happen with anything, and so and so did this 25, 30 years ago. I've never understood like why stuff doesn't happen then when it happens. I've never gotten that.
I mean, there was a I don't want to say a fuss, and it wasn't exactly like a lawsuit that took place in the early 90s. It was Phil Mushnick and his writings, and he was uncovering it and writing articles on it. And some of the former Ring Boys did speak out, like we did see some footage in the Vince McMahon documentary. So once again, not a lawyer, don't know how all this stuff works, but if we uncover some newfound information, which we kind of like know what's going on. Like Mel Phillips, obviously dirt worse, terrible human being. Fuck him. And then like when it comes to like Pat Patterson, that type of stuff, that's still kind of up in the air. How much of it was like full blown like assaults in terms of like, just locker room stuff and it like that. And like I think it was Bruce Pritchard that just said like Pat Patterson was just kind of glommed onto this just because he was gay. So I mean, Pat Patterson passed on, but I don't know if in the lawsuit exactly he was mentioned or talked about, but
Yeah, like,
Mel.
so with this lawsuit, does that affect his estate? Do they go after his estate for money or whatever?
Oh, it's not exactly Pat Patterson. That's like the main culprit is Mel
Well, no,
Phillips.
no, yeah, but I'm saying that he's associated with this probably because he was gay. So I'm saying like, if his name is in this, like, does his estate get attacked because of this? Like, these are all questions.
I mean the Janelle Grant lawsuit is still on pause because of the federal investigation. These things take time. These things take forever. I would love for all this to get wrapped up soon, but And we're probably gonna be deep into 2025, and stuff like this is still going to be ongoing.
Not deep into 2025.
Unfortunately, maybe even in 2026. God forbid.
2028, 2030, 2034. Just, just years and years and years of litigation. We're gonna get into the fan mail. We got some. Shout out to Mr. X, the Hall of Famer.
Who day?
Yep. He says, I have to admit, I'm genuinely upset that Samantha Irvin is gone from WWE now. I'm happy that she's pursuing her dreams, but I'm going to miss what she brought to the job and how much fun she seemed to be having doing it. The one silver lining is that Lillian Garcia is now back. Yes. We'll talk about that once we get to Raw. Why has it taken so long for WWE to capitalize on using the 2300 arena, or as it will always be to me and many wrestling fans, the ECW arena? Is because it is a smaller seated venue. You can fit a lot of people in there. I mean, I was there WrestleMania weekend. They had what, like, I want to say like a little over 1,000 people in there.
Yeah, but WWE is never going to run a main roster show that seats 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really the case. And I mean, we're even seeing with NXT, like they're struggling to sell like these bigger venues. So I think the ECW arena is like the perfect small venue for them.
See, but you see here, the thing is, they realize, okay, we can't sell the bigger venues, so we'll go to small ones and capitalize and make it look like it's packed out. Where on the other hand, the other channel, I keep harping away at this, but it's just a fact, when you realize something isn't working, downsize, make it feel as big as possible, and then hopefully you can build it back up, stuff like that. And then lastly, he says, how long do you think until we see Daniel or Bryan Danielson again after he deals with all the issues with his neck and any other issues he may be dealing with? Give him some time, just give him some time.
Yeah,
I'm
that's kind of the big question is like they haven't explicitly talked about Danielson. Like they show him like getting loaded in the ambulance on Dynamite the past couple weeks, but they don't like outright talk about him being retired and him being gone. The whole contract situation is another thing of like he was a free agent basically that entire title run. Will he sign somewhere else? Will he sign again? Will he ever wrestle again? Because Danielson, as much as he loves the business, he loves his kids probably way more. And if he like, settles down, has that like quality dad time with, his young children, he's like, all right, maybe, and his neck is that bad, maybe he never comes back. So it's a big question.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's a different era, but I think just like having guys work um handshake deals. I mean, they did that with Cody when he was a TNT champion. So, but I guess it's just kind of the way Tony Khan works. But yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen with Daniel Bryan Danielson. I'm sure he could just pop up for the like one offs or whatever. Maybe just like hit different spots. Maybe he wrestles 3 times a year. You never know. Maybe he comes back and does that.
I mean, I would love for him to come back and kind of be a real part-time guy and kind of have these big matches. And I mean, the way they're laying it out, they're definitely.
What if he was the authority figure, a true authority figure?
Yeah, well, I mean, he hate like back when he was doing that SmackDown, he hated that because he wants to wrestle. I know he can wrestle now, so maybe it would be a little bit different. But
Yeah, I thought he was a great SmackDown general manager. Thought he was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean his promos and stuff, and his likability definitely played up. You know, before the age of Adam Pearce, he was the likable, maybe a little stressed out.
But he had control of the show.
Yeah, well, poor Adam Pearce, poor Scrap Daddy.
Yeah, man, come on now. SmackDown. A lot happened on SmackDown. Big advances in the Bloodline saga. Solo Sikoa is out there with his new bloodline, the Tongans and Jacob Fatu. And Jey Uso's music hit, big surprise. The yeets start happening. The yeeters are yeeting. Jay's out there with his brother and his cousin and the other members of the extension of the bloodline. Solo, I know Solo is supposed to be this big bad heel, but there are certain things he does where you just like he pops. He pops me, he pops the internet. He was like, you come out here and you yeet, yeet, yeet. I'm just like, that's okay, man. But yeah, Jay was basically out there like, you changed, blah, blah, blah. Why'd you bring them? Why'd you bring Jacob? We were supposed to stay away from Jacob. And this was the one thing that really got me. If he keeps looking at me like that, I'm gonna knock his ass out. I was like, Ooh, are we going? We gonna see that in the future? The one-on-one, I'd like that. But yeah, Solo asked Jay to come back and join his bloodline. And but Jay, he doesn't like how Solo's divided the family. What are your thoughts on this segment?
It was a good segment, and once again teasing a possible match with Jacob, which seems to be a trend here in WWE of teasing every possible Jacob Fatu matchup under the sun. And every time they do it, the crowd pops because they want to see Jacob kind of be either the leader of the bloodline or like be like his own thing, which is exciting to see.
Absolutely, absolutely. Moving on from that, Black SUV pulls up. It's Jimmy and Roman listening to some unreleased Travis Scott. Jay shows up, smiles at Jimmy, kind of frowns at Roman. Jay's about to walk away. Roman grabs Jay, and he says, "I'm proud of you. We all are." And this is really the moment that Jay's been waiting for the past 4 years. Everything that he endured with the bloodline and with Roman, and he just says, "No heat." So what do you thought on this part?
Yeah, showing some more human growth of Roman, showing a little more empathy, showing a little more not personality, but just kind of a little more emotion compared to what he was doing as the tribal chief, and then kind of in this early run, which I think was a little bit of a detriment because he was kind of, just he was stoic and all that other stuff, but now we're kind of seeing a little more of the, you know, quote unquote baby face side of Roman Reigns. But you
The
don't want to go
human
full
side of the
the
tribal chief.
human side, you don't want to go full blown because then that's when we get to back to 2015, 2016, where people are going to start booing him. You still want to keep that cool aura that he's got. But this was a nice little peek into the curtain, peek behind the
Yeah.
curtain.
What else happened with the bloodline? They're back in the bloodline office. Roman's office, and Jimmy's sitting next to him, hella close. And Roman's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm trying to be the wise man." And Roman's like, "Well, the wise man's not here. If he was here, it'd be done by now." And Roman tells Jimmy, like, "We did it your way, now I'm gonna do it my way." Then we get to later on in the night. Roman's out there, and he tells what city? I forgot what city they were in.
I forget. Let
Whatever
me look
city
it
it
up real
was. He
quick.
he told them that possibly for the last time to acknowledge him, and they do. Solo's music hits. He comes out there, and Roman says, he promised his father, obviously the late great Sika Anawai, one half of the Wild Samoans, that he would end this. And so Roman, says he acknowledges Solo, and Solo says, "No, I need you to acknowledge me as the tribal chief, or else." And Roman's like, "And or what?" It still has that, those characteristics. He hasn't changed all that much. Solo's like, "I knew you would never change, so I'm not going to change either." Brings out a battered Jimmy Uso in the bloodline, leaves Roman laying again. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, another solid segment with Roman and Solo kind of, doing their thing, and it's more physicality, a little not repetitive, but once again the new bloodline getting the upper hand and kind of playing the numbers game and all that stuff. So it leads into what's probably going to happen this week or the following weeks of some backup for the OG bloodline. And by the way, they were in Columbia, South Carolina.
That's
At the
right.
Col Easy for me to say, Colonial Life Arena.
Shout out to the Colonial Life Arena. Yeah.
I wanted to say like Colonel, like Kentucky Fried Chicken for some reason.
Jesus. I found some KFC history recently. I thought it was very interesting. Um, you know, Colonel Sanders had a business partner. He sold his stock and then went and opened Wendy's and named it after his daughter. Look at the odds.
Stand by this. I say this all the time in the other podcast. Wendy's, best basic burger that fast food has. It's the best burger.
You have this Krabby Patty gimmick that people are.
I have not because I've heard all it is just like a Wendy's patty with like some sauce, like some
It's a,
Thousand Island sauce on it.
yeah, it's a Dave's single with like In-N-Out sauce on it. I mean, I haven't had it, but apparently they have like a pineapple frosty that people are going crazy for.
Which is just a vanilla frosty with some pineapple scissor.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wendy's is great. I know somebody that won't eat Wendy's because the patties are square and he thinks he's not a square.
Well, they don't know what they're missing out. Wendy's best regular fast food burger there is.
I say, hey, Wendy's on the road hits different. I had that over at when I was on the way to LA this week, and I'll talk about that LA trip when we get to Inside the Ring. All right. What else happened? KO explains his actions, sitting in a car promo, explains why he attacked Cody and everything, and talks about how he didn't expect Randy to turn on him. He talks about how everybody says KO turns on his friends, but he would have never done that to Randy Orton. What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
Oh,
another
hold on. I'm sorry. One of the most important things, you know, KO says he doesn't know if he'll be back if they allow him back. We hear all these things about people's contracts being signed and whatnot, and we haven't really heard anything about KO. What are your thoughts?
another stellar promo from KO. He's very good at this type of promo. I mean, just any promo really. And yeah, playing in on the whole contract thing. I would assume he's going to get signed, and even if he doesn't, for like whatever reason, they can play into that, but they're not going to say his name if he's not on television or not under contract with the company. But KO is just so good at you know these kind of real life kind of promos. And he also had like the heelishness of it of like, oh, I wasn't going to turn on Randy Orton. Randy Orton turned on me, even though history they showed it like KO turns on everybody. But of course, he can have the plausible deniability that, oh yeah, this one time I was not going to turn on Randy. I mean, come on, guys, you should know me better than that.
Yeah, they'll say his name even if he's not under contract. They just mentioned Ryback and Bobby Lashley on WWE TV like a week ago.
Bobby Lashley is one thing. I don't think they're scared of Ryback making a difference.
Right. But yeah, just KO doing awesome work as always. And this one right here warmed my heart, man. Friday afternoon, a video goes up on WWE's IG of Nick Aldis with a contract, and it pans over to Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, the Motor City Machine Guns, officially in WWE. They had a stellar debut in a triple threat tag team match. Man, I absolutely love the Motor City Machine Guns. Were you with me at the West Coast Pro Show when they wrestled? Were you with me at that one?
I believe so because I do remember them being at one of those shows.
Yeah. When we were chilling with Jake downstairs, yeah. Man, so happy. I mean, for years, I wanted to see them in WWE. One of my dream tag team matches was the Motor City Machine Guns versus Kendrick and London. I always thought that would have just hit on a different level. I'm so happy for these guys. I saw Alex Shelley put a video up on Twitter just thanking, his friends and family and his fans for always believing in him and standing by him. I'm just so happy for these guys. What are your thoughts on the Motor City Machine Guns finally being in WWE?
Excited for them. There was all the rumors and innuendos. I think we even maybe talked about it was like a done deal. They're going to AEW. That nope, they're here in WWE. Almost like you can't believe everything you read online, folks. But a little tepid response from the crowd in South Carolina, which was a little disappointed. But what can you expect? Like Columbia is not exactly the biggest market in the world. The minute pause Motor City Machine Guns are not exactly like the biggest worldwide free agent name. They're not like AJ Styles or anything like that, but they're a very talented tag team, a little past their prime, but still can go. And we can hope that this, shoots some sort of energy into this tag team division that's been sorely lacking for years now at this point, it feels like.
I mean, yeah, I mean, decorated. I mean, both men were heavyweight champions in TNA. Chris Sabin was the TNA heavyweight champion, which the story of how he got the run with that was it's still mind boggling to me. And then Alex Shelley was the Impact World Champion, of course, X Division titles, multiple tag titles, ROH tag titles, etc. Congratulations to these guys, man! I'm so excited. I've always loved them, and I'm very happy for these guys. I really am. Game 7 has been announced. Andrade versus Carmelo, the 7th match in this series with special guest referee LA Knight, and I guess the winner gets an opportunity at the championship of the United States.
I mean, kind of excited this is kind of finally over. It's been going on for quite some time, and it's let's be honest, it's not like the legendary like 7 match series that we've seen in the past, but they every single time they go out there, they have a really solid match. LA Knight's kind of been attached to this by proxy, and so he's kind of been I forget how long this has been, a couple months now at this point. So hopefully, we end this. They have the match. Presumably, LA Knight beats whoever wins this one. And LA Knight can kind of go on, do his own thing, get like in an actual storyline, and these two, Andrade and Carmelo, can go off and do their own thing as well. Because
I
you know,
wouldn't be. I'm sorry. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, let's say Carmelo beats Andrade and then he gets one over on LA Knight and takes the title. LA Knight's always been good at the chase. Like he can. Well, what? It's October right now. Let's say maybe they throw the title match on Saudi Arabia on November 2nd, and then you could have LA Knight chase until and maybe win it back at what they got, the Royal Rumble or maybe Saturday night's main event, something like that. I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to Carmelo. Like, if you tell me to say one of these guys is to beat LA Knight, it definitely is Hayes because I mean, since his debut on the main roster, like yes, he had that match with Cody, but he lost, and his he was whatever like a first or second round draft pick, whatever that means in WWE sense, but he hasn't exactly been, I think, kind of the impact player that people kind of thought he would be on the main roster, and
Time.
there's still
It's all
time.
about time. Yeah.
I mean, we've seen what they did with Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker. They can come in flounder, quote unquote, a little bit so that they can heat him up.
Absolutely. Inside the ring, went to GCW this past weekend. Went to LA. Shout out Marley was there. She's not here on the show today, but Marley was with us. Anderson, the intern, and of course Juicy Finau. Oh yeah, man, GCW is fantastic. I mean, the main event was crazy with Cyclope and I'm forgetting who he faced. Absolute bloody carnage. Juicy Finau wrestled Megan Bain. Saw some familiar faces: Jordan Cruz, Dark Sheik, Brooke Havoc. Met Sydney, the former Reggie. Chill Cat. His match with Jack Evans was absolutely bonkers, man. Brandon, have you been to GCW yet? Yes, no? Huh? Oh my god. Oh my god, he's gone. Brandon has left the building. Jesus. There he is.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
What's going on, man? Yeah, GCW. Have you ever been?
I've not been. I know they've done some things here in San Francisco, but
Yeah.
they've kind of slid into that ROH kind of top indie third, fourth promotion in the states, but I have not been to a GCW show yet.
You gotta come on, man. Gotta come on. Met
Well,
Brett.
Las Vegas around the corner. Tickets, or at least combo tickets, go on sale Friday, or at least on right now if you have those pre-sale codes. So maybe,
Yeah, yes,
maybe
yes.
Vegas.
I've seen those prices. Oh boy. Oh boy. But yeah, no, met Brett Lauderdale. Shout out, shout out, shout out. Cool cat, cool cat. All right. November 6th, NXT will be at the 2300 Arena. We kind of just talked about this. Yeah, no, I'm excited for that, man. 2300 Arena, obviously all the legendary stuff that happened there. Guys, when you go take a picture in the bathroom with the ECW painting. Yeah.
This is a specialty show. They're getting pushed to to the Wednesday because of the election. So going head to head with Dynamite, that's always going to be interesting, especially online. But it makes sense. You're going to have a show on a special night. You put it in a special arena, and they've drawn relatively well. I feel like NXT kind of has a specialty show almost every week now at this point. But if they lean into the ECW nostalgia or whatever, you bring in Sandman or RVD or whoever the case may be, Tommy Dreamer, you get something out of it, pull some viewers away from AEW and pull some viewers because you change times, there's always going to be some sort of viewership hit. So it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I see bringing RVD, have him talk about only wrestlers.
No idea what that's supposed to mean. Like I get it. It's a paid site for wrestlers to connect with fans, but like what does that mean?
It could be like a cameo deal. Maybe they get a bigger cut.
I mean, making money, boo boo. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Zarya, the former Delta, has debuted in NXT with the spin the wheel, make the deal. Yeah, obviously her name can't be Delta. They can't trademark that because of the airline. But yeah, congratulations to her. Shout out. Rhea Ripley tweeted out, having another Aussie in the company. Let's see what she can do.
yeah, good for her. Make a her debut made a little bit of a the rounds on the Twitter sphere, and
It made an
uh,
impact.
it yeah, another woman in that NXT division. I'm not going to sit here and say like it's the deepest or the most talented or whatever the case they be saying on television, but it is. They have these free agent signings. They're definitely building up a good core to kind of pair with the inexperienced the college athletes that they got down there.
I think like this episode of NXT had like 18 or 20 women on the show or something they were saying on the internet. It's crazy, man. Hell yeah. Congrats to all these women getting time to shine. And look, I gotta put some respect on Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. I gotta put some respect on their names real quick. They've been doing this thing. And I know you was a Lash Legend trash talker.
Hey, people can grow, people can change.
Yeah, bro. I mean, she ain't never did this before, and they just threw her on TV. Of course, it
Because
wasn't.
that was the thing I was saying is like you shouldn't be putting people on television who have no right to be on television. But
Look at the
credit to
man.
her, she's gotten better.
Yes, I mean she, like her and Piper Niven. I was like, okay, I like this, and everything that they're doing with Bianca and Jade. I think they should beat them for the titles. I think that'd be huge. They do like a triple threat tag title match, but then you have Lash like pin Bianca. I think that'd be something. I think that'd be something, Mage. Hologram is apparently injured at Wrestle Dream. Oh boy.
Yep, he got injured at Wrestle Dream at the end of it. No, don't exactly know what the extent or what type of injury it is, but one of the Lucha blogs, Lucha, you know, sources talked about that he was gonna have to miss a show because of injury, and he's gonna be out all the way up until past Full Gear, which is basically a month. They ran an angle on Collision where LFI, I think that's what their acronym is, attacked him backstage, so he's kind of been written off television that way. But unfortunately, a hologram gets written off, and he's injured for a little bit, and he's been picking up some steam. He's getting the spotlight on AEW as much as you can be. He's got that undefeated record, and he's been putting in some good matches. So
Wait, are
sucks
they
to see.
doing the record thing again?
I mean, not outwardly, but they are definitely kind of saying that he is undefeated. And then I also don't understand why at Wrestle Dream, like he technically did win, but then he also did suffer his first loss, pinfall against Mortos in that 2 out of 3 falls match. But you
Okay.
know, nitpicky.
Yeah. All right. Raw recap. Braun Breaker wins back the Intercontinental title after 27 days. Jey Uso has lost the Intercontinental Championship. It hurt a little bit, man. To see him finally get to that mountaintop, but then have it taken away, which that's what they want. So, Braun and Jey are having a nice decent match until you see the Tongans in the crowd, and then you see Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu walk up, and once again, Solo, just being funny for, well, I guess not trying to be funny. He just, wait, look, I got tickets. I got 2 tickets, one for me and one for him. And then Solo knows hopping over the barricade after Jay takes out the tongue. He said, "What are you doing? I'm trying to help you. You're not listening." Pushes Jay out the way, takes a super spear from Braun Breaker. Jay and Braun keep going at it. Braun kicks out of the splash. Uh, Braun rolls to the outside. Jay's going after him, takes a super kick from Jacob. Small drop onto the announce table, rolls back in, super spear, 1, 2, 3. Braun still regains the title. What are your thoughts?
Match itself was okay. This is kind of one of those things where I understand what they were doing and kind of the finish wise, but like if they just didn't do these whole smallish finishes all the time, if you do it here, it makes a whole lot more sense. It makes sense and it makes more of an impact, and you don't have people like, oh my god, they never give away true finishes. But it does feel as though they had kind of this plan all along to have this kind of short reign for Jay. You legitimize him, he finally gets that singles title victory, and then it gives something for him to get taken away with the OG or with the new bloodline. You said Solo pretty blatantly pushed Jay out the way. So hopefully that's gonna be more of the story, is that he was trying to help Jay and he kind of took a bullet for him instead of it just being a little sloppy and obviously like, just a botch, quote unquote, but it's not, it is what it is. But this also gives a reason for Jay to want to get retribution and for him to probably be on SmackDown for the foreseeable future. And with him getting stepped in, we haven't seen Sam in a little bit. So maybe Sam is going to question Jay, why is he here? Because, family, can't turn her back on family and all that stuff.
Hey,
And that's when we get
listen,
Sammy in the mix.
listen. I know we're talking about like the internet's talking about like they can't wait for like Randy to turn on Cody and all this stuff. How is Kevin Owens gonna react if Sami Zayn joins up with Roman Reigns after everything that Roman put him through? That's what I want to see.
I mean, I could see them possibly, Kevin Owens joins the new bloodline just because he hates the OG bloodline so much. And you get,
Not
Kevin Owens on one side, you get Cody Rhodes on the other
no,
side. So then that kind of balances it out.
no. I think we're gonna get KO and Cody for the title at Survivor Series.
But I'm saying you can have both of them in the cage. So you don't have to have that extra match. We know WWE likes to have those short 4 to 5 matches on a show. The War Games match is going to probably go an hour. So if you're trying to cut some time and kind of put two things in one, that would make total sense.
Could do that, yeah. You could do something like that. Um, Yeah, Rollins and Reed, they brawl, and it's been made official for Crown Jewel. It will be Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed in Saudi Arabia. Brandon, how do you feel about this?
Um, the whole uncontrollable brawl kind of going all over the arena. It's getting a little tiresome, especially because it seems to be Bronson Reed's gimmick, and he did it with Braun Strowman, and I was doing it with Seth Rollins. So they're good, but I feel like they're kind of leading into that a little too much, a little bit too much of a crutch. So hopefully, we kind of put that on ice. We don't see that for a couple months, but I am intrigued and excited to see what Bronson and Seth Rollins could do, because Bronson, obviously, he's in the picture. This is probably the biggest match of his career. Seth still has a little bit of that, fuck you. I can have a fantastic match if I really want to, and he's been hurt for a little bit, so maybe, two really motivated guys. I know the setting's not great of it being in Saudi Arabia, but it should be a fantastic match if they can pull it off and if they're really motivated to do so.
It'll be fine. I mean, they go to Saudi twice a year. The people will pop for whatever they do. Rhea gets her hands on Dominic. Now, I was talking about this like a while ago. Rhea versus Dom. Now the internet is talking about it, and then I read something like WWE is interested in Rhea versus Dominic. Yeah, yeah, that's always been the payoff.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, I mean the mismatch of Liv and Rhea size wise. Like, yes, obviously people want to see Rhea get her hands on Liv and get the title back, but the heat has always been Rhea and Dom.
Yeah, like this is the one intergender match they can do, and it will make perfect sense. I mean, with Raquel being back now, she can intervene and stuff. But the question is, like, do we go WrestleMania with this one? Now remember, Ray and Dominic were kind of on a similar path, but they split away for a little bit and came back to each other. Does Rhea lose again and then like kind of goes and gets sidetracked with something else and then finds her way back to this?
I mean, it is quite a ways away. I
But
feel
WWE,
I feel I feel as though, like, if you're gonna use a Rhea Ripley WrestleMania match, I think you need to have that like be a straight up like women's title match instead of like a gimmicky, intergender match. Which, no disrespect, is obviously one of the biggest matches, at least heat wise, they can put on.
done that already. She's done it like 3 years in a row.
Well,
I've if they want to do it at WrestleMania, I feel WWE, they're great with the long term storytelling. They'll find a way to get there, but Saturday night's main event might be the spot too.
little after hours, if they care about the kids because they don't want to see men beat up women or whatever.
I think it'll just be Dominic begging like the whole time while Rhea just dog walks him.
I mean, that's probably the case, because if you pay attention to Rhea when she would get physical with the guys, it
Steel
was
cage,
always it was always her attacking the guys and never the guys attacking her.
steel cage, blue steel cage, Rhea versus Dom. Hmm.
Make it happen.
Let's do it. The Viking War Raider experience is back, or the War Raiders. Huh?
Just absolutely love to see it. They made their in-ring debut last week. They did a promo this week. You have the Viking War Raider experience. They go back to probably the best name that they had of the War Raiders.
Yeah, I
Back.
mean that was their original name on the Indies in Japan.
Well, I mean, technically it was War Machine if you want to get technical.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
That was their name, and War Raiders was NXT.
That's
When you
right.
got like 10 different names, it's hard to keep track of them all. But War Raiders was probably the best WWE, by far the best WWE name they have. So intrigued to see what they do. Sarah Logan, nowhere to be seen. Is she pregnant again? I can't keep
Hollow?
track. She pregnant again, because I feel like she like gets pregnant. She pops a kid out, then just one goes back in. Check it out.
That's that's a statement. Okay.
It is a statement. That's what I'm here for.
All right. All right. But yeah, shout out. Wait. So did they get their old names back too, or are they still Eric and Ivar?
Um, I mean, they had the match last week, and I wasn't really paying attention or kind of forgot exactly what their. Oh, look, on April 26, 2024, she announced her second pregnancy. I was right. Told
Okay. But I mean, are they still Eric and Ivar, or are they back to Hanson and Rowe?
you. Let's see. I think they're probably just Eric and Ivar still. That would make sense.
Okay.
You got the names, you got the trademarks.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's that. Wyatt Six return. They surround the Final Testament and the Miz. Is the Miz going to team with the Final Testament to take on the Wyatt Six?
I mean, he's got no other friends, so guess you got to look to them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I like it. This is different.
I mean, this is exactly kind of I think where the Wyatt Six should be. I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
the lowest on the card that you can go, especially like team wise. But I mean, it's a perfect fit. You have Scarlett, you have a female in there to kind of pair off with Nikki Cross. So, um, you know, where they are, it makes perfect sense. Have them just kind of feud with them. It's very low stakes, but people get a kick out of them, and it doesn't really hurt anybody on the card of note.
Right. Also, Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio defeated American Made. We're gonna get Mysterio and Lee for the tag titles, huh?
Possibly, and that's a fun little match there. Especially Ray can get his spots in, and Dragon Lee could wrestle majority of the matches or majority of the match. So
I guess we should talk about this. Carlito said, "Do I got to learn Chinese?" The internet's having a field day with that one.
yeah, not the best look in the world.
I
Allegedly
just,
it wasn't
uh,
scripted. It was
yeah.
what he was saying, and then Io and Kyrie said they did have an issue with it, but then that's what they're gonna say because they don't want to stir the pot. So it's this whole thing.
I keep seeing the clip of EO in NXT. I'm Japanese, bitch.
And then immediately hits the split. One of the best videos of all time, respectfully.
Come on now. All the wrestling happened. I miss Shelton Benjamin match. I hate him. I'm about to look at these highlights while you talk about this.
So yeah, Shelton has another match, kind of stepping up in competition as they explained, taking on Sammy Guevara, who, if you didn't know, is an ROH Tag Team Champion with Justin Rhodes. So there you go. The more you know.
I didn't even see him on two tapings of ROH when they did them out here.
Well, I hate to not see it, but yeah, Benjamin gets the win. One of those competitive, I don't say squash matches, but competitive
Bro, that
match, which
throw is crazy. What?
they did the throwback.
Oh my goodness.
With the roles reversed this time of Guevara doing the springboard into the super kick.
I just saw it.
So there you go. Benjamin kind of getting some retribution, like 19 years later, however long ago that was. And he gets the win. That was it. I don't think Swerve was on the show at all, but they're plugging the Halloween show next week, which is kind of their, once again, like NXT, they all seem to always have some sort of gimmick show. So we're getting Shelton and Swerve next week. Maybe we finally get the debut of Lashley. Um, I think Swerve just beat Benjamin. Whether or not Lashley shows up, who knows? Then we got a Kyle Fletcher promo responding to his actions against Will Ospreay at Wrestle Dream. We got a little video package of Will Ospreay talking about his relationship with Fletcher back in the COVID days, and the not undisputed United Empire, and kind of some clips of that. Fletcher says he's not Will Ospreay, and to show how much he is not like Will Ospreay, he takes some clippers and shaves his head, so he's not going to have that long, shaggy,
Wait,
platinum blonde hair.
Kyle Fletcher shaved his head?
Yep. So maybe he's going to join the Moxley faction and be a skinhead with them.
That's okay. I'm looking at this right now. Wow, man. I mean, as a man with a shaved head, Jesus.
Crowd was kind of getting on Fletcher. Not exact. Well, it is very hard, like, especially with the AEW crowd, because they were chanting to wrap it up, which who knows what kind of heat that is of we don't care heat or we hate you in a kayfabe sense heat. So we have to wait and see on that front. But I thought his performance was
Where
good.
were they at?
They were in Salt Lake City.
Really? Okay, Utah is not with the BS because brother man Ricochet was cutting a promo on the Stockton taping, and he said the same thing like three times, and the fans just kept cheering for him. Okay, interesting.
Then we got the bridge into hour one to hour two with the ROH title. It was a ladder war. Mark Briscoe defended against Chris Jericho. And it was exactly what happened. Briscoe getting the upper hand on Jericho for majority of it. We got blood. We got Jericho going through a table, which was right next to a ladder. If you haven't,
Really?
look it up. It was right next to a ladder. Jericho falls kind of off to the side of the table
Let me see
and
this.
just bounces his head off the ladder. Just disgusting. It looked nasty.
Chris Jericho's Ring of Honor champion again, huh?
Yep, we
So
get
is he the Nueve?
yes, the Nueve. So spoiler alert, Brian Keith shows up. that he gets ran off by
Oh, this was a
Rock.
ladder match.
Well, that's what a ladder war is. And I see
Okay.
Philip listens to what I'm saying. And then Rocky Romero shows up, blah, blah, blah. Then Big Bill shows up, attacks Briscoe, puts him through a table. Jericho kind of whatever, climbs up the ladder, and he gets the title. So he's the New ROH champion. And then Ishii comes out to like literally zero pop. The Motor City Machine Guns got a bigger pop than Tomohiro Ishii did, which is kind of surprising because you think at least I know it's Salt Lake City, but I think an AEW crowd should at least pop a little bit for Tomohiro Ishii. That's just me. But anyways, the disrespect for my Stone Pitbull.
I'm
So
sorry. Oh.
looks like we're getting Chris Jericho taking on Ishii for the ROH title in the Year of Our Lord 2024. Yeah.
Chris Jericho versus Ishii for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Did you ever think you would say that?
No, because
Especially like 2018. Did you ever think you would say that?
that's well at 2018 I knew who Ishii was, but I yeah, the WWE guy taking on the New Japan guy for the ROH title in a completely different promotion that in 2028 did not in 2018 didn't even exist yet. Absolutely not.
I'm trying to find this clip of Jericho falling. Man.
Well, it's Briscoe jumping off the ladder through the table, and then Jericho kind of slides off the table and bounces his head off the.
Oh, Jesus. I see him going through these tables. Okay.
Then we get Adam Cole coming out, and he gets interrupted by the Undisputed
Okay.
Kingdom.
Okay, here it is. Here it is. Hold on.
Gotta pay attention to Jericho's head.
Yeah, right. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Power right in the kisser. So Adam Cole comes out. Then Undisputed Kingdom shows up. Him and Roderick Strong go back and forth a little bit. Very cordial, very nice. They're all
Roderick
friendly.
Strong is still under contract.
The whole Undisputed Kingdom still under contract, and they talk about the good times. Talk about the recovery. Which shout out Adam Cole, who's got a dead guy's foot, bone in his foot now.
Phil T's and P's to Adam Cole. He and Britt Baker are no longer a thing. I read that.
Absolutely hate to see it. Then MJF, a clear, in one of those awkward pre-tape promos, like how did he know that Undisputed Kingdom showed up and he's getting a massage, probably because he's filming Happy Gilmore. So once again, shocker, MJF is going to make his opponents jump through some hoops to then possibly have a match with him at Full Gear. It's kind of awkwardly worded because it's like whoever gets 3 wins first gets a shot at MJF. So Roderick Strong and Adam Cole have to win 3 matches, and whatever. It's convoluted. It's AEW. That's what happens. Later on, we did have a House of Black.
Wait. Hold on. The Undisputed Kingdom are baby faces now?
Yeah, presumably they were teasing it, or at least kind of moving in that direction with Roderick Strong and Taven and Bennett doing some like handshakes. Right? They were doing some handshakes, and they would be more respectful. So obviously, they knew Adam Cole was probably on their way a couple months ago, and they were kind of teasing, moving in that direction. It's one of those things with the Adam Cole thing is it's like such a huge, plot hole that you have to address it. As much as I wish they can just ignore those 3 guys and just have Adam Cole do his own thing. But, the case, it is what it is. We did have a House of Black squash match, all 3 of them. And Buddy Matthews challenged Adam Cole. So we will get that next week. Main event was a trios match. Private Party ends up pinning the Young Bucks. Private Party, or at least Isaiah Cassidy, says he challenges the Young Bucks to a tag title match next week. And if they lose, Private Party, that is, they will break up forever. Mark Quinn seemed to not be on the up and up on that front. And then the show-long tease of when will the BCC showed up. They finally did. We get a little tease of Chucky T midway through the show. So if you were paying attention, you were seeing this coming. They attack Chuck Taylor, and they Pillmanize his neck. So they killed old Chucky T, and the lasting shot was Orange Cassidy kind of in disbelief and anger. So clearly we are going to get some sort of change in the Orange Cassidy character, which I am intrigued by.
Really? Is he gonna? I mean, didn't he try to be serious before?
I forget which match it was, but a pay-per-view match a couple months ago, he did do come out in the black T-shirt and he had the different theme song. But we're definitely on the verge of a probably more human-like Orange Cassidy, whatever that is. If he's just much more emotional. He cares more. The story is that he's kind of everything was falling around him
Okay.
with, Chuck Taylor, Trent turned on him, Rocky
What's up with
Romero.
Trent?
Well, he joined Don Callis, and then he got immediately hurt. So,
Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
So,
Well,
then
there other guy
we
on
had
the
we had
Don
that
Callis.
weird backstage thing at Wrestle Dream with Jerry Lynn just trying to motivate Orange Cassidy for like no reason, but they had a reason, I guess.
Let's see. Let's talk NXT Halloween Havoc, Hershey, Pennsylvania, the Giant Center this Sunday. A lot is going on Sunday or this weekend. Jesus Christ. Let's talk about these matches. All right, got 5 matches. Kalani Jordan versus Fallon Henley, JC Jane or Nix. Spin the wheel, make the deal choice for the NXT North American Women's Championship. I think Kalani Jordan will retain. Andre Chase versus Ridge Holland ambulance match. I'll give it to Andre Chase. Tag team match: Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade versus Julia and Stephanie Vaquer. I think Julia and Stephanie will get the job done. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think the priority should be building up Julia and Stephanie Vaquer. Who knows how long this tag team will last? If it will last, I mean, if they want to if they want to feud and have their own matches, I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah. Tony D'Angelo, which by the way, he was on the Ringer Wrestling podcast Wednesday Worldwide like a week ago. Go check out that interview. Very good. Tony D'Angelo defends the North American Championship against Oba Femi. Spin the wheel, make the deal. Tables, ladders, and scares. Only way this match can be won is by pinfall. I mean, we just saw a short title reign end. Do you think Tony D'Angelo? You think he loses it to Oba Femi again? Huh? Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's definitely a way out just because, it's a gimmick match, but it's you just put it on Tony G. I think there's no reason to put it back on Obafemi. I think he's on the up and up, and he'll probably challenge Trick for the title.
Speaking of Trick Williams, he defends the NXT Championship against Ethan Page. Spin the wheel, make the deal. Devil's Playground. Did you see the Ethan Page rap that I sent?
Yep. And once again, the reason the other guy came on the show is because me and Phillip had the discussion of what's the greatest white rapper of all time. We were talking about John Cena. I think we got to put Ethan Page in that discussion now.
Ethan Page, ladies and gentlemen, I need you all to do yourselves a favor and go find the Ethan Page rap. This was the one. I mean, the references were great. Reference Punk, just great stuff, man. Love it, love it, love it. But I do think Trick Williams is going to hit the trick shot and retain the NXT Championship.
Absolutely. I mean, Trick, the whole reason for that match on the CW was to get Trick the title. No reason for him to lose it here. And for him to, continue on, slay Beast and slay whoever the hell and keep growing, and then eventually move on to Raw or SmackDown.
Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is an action-packed weekend of wrestling out here in the Bay Area. Oasis Pro, 3 shows, 3 different cities. Thursday night, Zeitgeist, Fright Night. So many matches are going down. El Mago versus Fatal. Dante Daring versus Alonzo Alvarez. 4-way fade. Loverboy Leo versus Illumide versus Chris Nasty versus Brett the Threat. You got TMD, Sonico, and AJ Gray versus the South Pacific Savages. Beatrice Domino versus Nick Xander. Not to mention Jai Jewel versus Big Baby Powder. And then Friday, Journey's Odyssey, Vacaville, California. 10,000 thumbtack match. Juicy Finale versus Lighter J versus Big Baby Powder. Melanin Mafia versus the Ugly Dojo. Journey Fatu will possibly reemerge, after everything that's been going on with that in a death match with Big Ugly. Fatal versus Sonica, or Fatal versus Lumide, Kenny K, and Alonzo Alvarez. So much more Journey's Odyssey. And then to cap off the weekend for Oasis Pro, we got Spooky Season back at the Gilman Brewery in Berkeley, California. King Gao versus Sonico. What else we got? The High Council versus Chris Nasty and his partner. What else do we got on here? Illuminate versus Dom Sirius. You got Ray Rico versus Omago versus Nick Sander versus Big Dick Haas. And so much more. And then, of course, capping off the weekend for myself, Agua Emporium, Devil's Night 19. A lot is going down. Dave Dutra versus Alpha Zoe. You got the Graveyard Shift of the New Faces of Fear, Butch Sawyer and Dave Reckoning going up against Dave Wasted and Toby Reynolds. You got Juicy Finale versus Lazarus versus Big Baby Powder in the Ugwa Beast of the East Championship match. Gatekeeper title, Kenny K versus DJ Fresh. Championship of Sharks. Dark Sheik defends against Marco Mayor. Big time main events, or one of the big main event matches, the Ugwa Championship dog collar match, Journey Fatu versus Jordan Cruz. And then it is the Graveyard Shift versus the Ugwa Avengers. That is going to be a hell of a match. Bossman is getting back in the ring, teaming with Anton Voorhees, Brooke Havoc, Christina Von Eerie, and Chris Nasty to take on the Graveyard Shift, consisting of Doc Atrocity, Alexander Ginsavani, Jai Jewel, and Alex Ace. You don't want to miss it. Come join all the wrestling this weekend. 4 shows for myself. If you see me at any of them, obviously come up and say hello. It is going to be a hell of a weekend. Brandon, will I see you at any of these shows?
No, but if you want, you can come see me at the San Leandro Nike store. You won't see me because I'm going to be stuck in the back, but
you're not even going to be able to make it to any of these shows?
No, I'm a hardworking, independent, man. They got me working all the time now.
Damn, I'm sorry. Well, be that as it may, ladies and gentlemen, hope to see you at all these shows. Thank you guys so much. We'll be back next week, hopefully with Marley, to talk everything professional wrestling, sports, entertainment. Thank you so much. As always, be safe and stay dangerous. Yes, sir.
You are the weak, and I will always get back up on my feet. Why are they alive? When you are the weak, when your face is in the dark, you'll know your death is one I seek. Get up, get up.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.